Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is NBL Overtime. All thanks to LD Mobile. Hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved. Boys, Liam Santamaria, Homicide. I ended last week's show saying there is no way next week's show is going to be bigger, and already we're here. I've barely got a breath in, and it's going to be bigger from the outset. Hello to you.
Camp, good to go.
What's going on, man? Let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about.
We got a lot, and we're straight off the top for people watching right now. There's no doubt they're going to be absolutely pumped. And yet again, I say this a lot, not just if you're a Southeast Melbourne Phoenix fan, but if you're a fan of the league, you're going to love the fact that Keifer Sykes is here. He's in Sydney. He's a new Phoenix import, and he joins us now. My man, welcome to Australia. Welcome to the NBL.
Thank you, man. I'm excited to be here, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Now, we're going to get to what Liam Santamaria, I'm going to put it straight out there. 12 months ago, Liam and I were in Vegas at Summer League, and he kept telling me about you and how the Phoenix were loving you, and this is a huge chance for you to be a part of the Phoenix. Now, it took 12 months, but you're finally going to wear the colors. It seems like something that's been building for a little while now finally comes real.
Yeah, man. I told him it's kind of meant to be because in college, that's kind of where I exploded. I rise from just a small prospect to one of the best collegiate players and worked my way into the NBA combine, NBA draft. But, I was a Phoenix then and wearing black and green. So, like I said, this kind of, manifested in itself. So I'm just excited to be here, a part of the team.
Keifer, we know obviously you had the short stint with Panathinaikos recently, with the Turkish team before that, and in the EuroLeague with the Italian team last year. Why the NBL? Why have you decided right now is the right time to join the Phoenix and join this league?
Well, first of all, I mean, for safety reasons, like you said, I played in all these leagues. You all have, a great control on that. So a mix of, just safety precautions, just seeing what was best for me and my family, my game. I knew this would be another challenge for me to go to another league and, challenge myself, see how well I can adapt. And just, like I said, just test my talents. And then also like with the team, just being, just 2 years old and, have them having, high admirations. I thought this would be the best chance for me to win a championship. So, I'm just excited to, like you said, come here, help the team and just bring some more excitement to this league that's been really growing.
Do you know anything about the NBL?
Well, I mean, LaMelo Ball, the third pick. I know that they play, just 28 games, which, I'm the number 28. So I take big signs, like I said, I'm a Phoenix. Jerome Randall from Chicago has had a lot of, success in this league, winning MVP. I believe he made it to the finals. So, just a fellow Chicago guy following him, just knowing he does a lot of things on and off the court, with his camps, the fans have a lot of love. Knowing that Bryce Cotton, has been having a lot of success winning championships here. We played together in Austin. So I'm just familiar with just like the guard play, just the style of the league, how well the league is ran, professionally. Closest thing to the NBA is what I've been seeing and what I've been hearing. So like I said, I'm just excited to just be a part of it.
You mentioned those conversations, or I mentioned those conversations that have been going on for the better part of 12 months. Tommy Greer, the CEO, and Simon Mitchell, the head coach. When they tell you about obviously how young the franchise is, what they're working and what they're building on and off court, and you mentioned championship as well with the crew they've already got in place. How excited are you? How excited are you to get on the floor in the next week or two? And of course, the season isn't too far away. So is the excitement just building I know you're in quarantine right now, so that's going to probably somewhat.
Yeah,
is it just you're getting amped? Are you getting, pun intended, psyched?
Yeah, I'm getting psyched. I'm very much excited. Like you said, for me, like I kind of played like a short, I would say preseason, playing with the Turkish team, playing in the EuroLeague. So, my off season has been unique. I went home for like 4 weeks, but I was still kind of in season mode. So this is the first time I've been able to just sit down and be locked up and not train. So, I'm excited to get out of this quarantine, get with the team. And like you said, the season's around the corner, but, I'm in really good shape. I was just in, in season mode, practicing every day, just playing real high level games. So I'm just excited to get back to that.
Just before you start, Liam, I got to ask this question because a couple of weeks ago we had Justinian Jessup who was in quarantine and he got drafted and he was in a hotel room that didn't have ESPN. So on this show, I gave a shout out to the New South Wales government. I said, hey, you got some ballers coming in. Make sure they got ESPN in their hotel room. Have they?
Yeah.
Have you got ESPN?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not like big on TV. I tried to watch the TV. I don't think I saw ESPN on there.
Oh no.
And I've only been here for 3 days, so I know I need a bike. I need some workout equipment. I also need an adapter. That's the one thing that I need, so I could, get my computer going and, charge my computer, my phone, things like that. But they did a pretty good job, man. I'm in a nice hotel in the Sofitel. I got a lot of space. I brought some equipment on my own, so I'll just be getting prepared here and just also using the time to just relax and heal.
You'll get a sense of this, Keifer, over the course of the season. Cam thinks he has influence across the country, but he really doesn't.
To be
I love
fair,
the energy, man.
To be fair, the New South Wales and federal government are just out of my reach, but I'm working on it. Liam.
Yeah. Keifer, those who have watched you play, watched your highlights, know that you can score. Like, you can really score the ball from outside. You can get into the lane. One of the things this team lacked last season was impact defenders. They were one of the leakiest teams in the league. And when Cam and I watched you at Summer League last year for Denver, when you got on the floor, it's the first thing I noticed. You were 94 feet, crawling in, turning guys in the backcourt. Is that something you'll be looking to bring to this squad this season?
Yeah, with me being a smaller guard, I just, like I said, winning is probably the most important thing for me, not scoring. I've just been in positions where I had to score. And, I'm blessed and I'm talented to be able to do that. But I could do a lot of things on the floor. Like you said, with my athletic ability, I can also rebound really well. I can also, like, my speed and quickness, change the game defensively. I take every possession serious, and that's just not offensively. Defensively, I take every possession serious, and I know how much, defense will impact the game. So, like you said, as you saw, that's something that I love to do. I love to, be the guy that, pick guys up, do the dirty work, dive on the floor, talk a lot, lead a lot, just all the intangibles, all of those things, incorporate and, are part of winning basketball games. And, I value all of those things really high.
Your journey is a unique one. You love the game. You've traveled all over the world in your young career and have done well for yourself. Talk to us about the documentary you have on Amazon Prime and how important it is for you, this documentary of your journey.
The documentary is very important for me. It's just been like just a blessing from God. It's been like a vehicle for, people to get to know me better, but also a vehicle for people to get a look at, us athletes, our journey. And it's something that has inspired me, like you said, to, have an imprint and just leave my mark and have, my fingerprints in different countries and, take a different route. Like I said, it's also just, inspired me to help the youth. Right now back home, I'm doing a winter cold drive, with all the infections going up in the States. And I was able to, this time when I left Panathinaikos before I came here, to have a high school basketball camp for the youth. A lot of seniors back home in Chicago, they don't have a senior season. With COVID, they canceled a lot of basketball. So, I really commend that how they've been able to handle it here. But, having that film in place always just reminds me that I always have to reach back and help the other athletes like me that wasn't ranked, help the athletes like me that didn't have resources, that, come from the inner city, that come from poverty and come from where, they're not represented and they're underprivileged. So, I just use that to just let people know that, if I can do it, they can do it. And it just, motivates me every day to just work harder. So like I said, I'm just blessed to, have a film, have a documentary and, have people learn more about me and just, it's more than basketball with me. So I'm just excited to be here and, hopefully everybody get to check out that film and get to know just me and, just my why, why I play, why I play with the passion I do, why I go so hard, each and every day.
So
Amen.
Just on that, what's it called? For people who haven't seen it and they want to find it?
It's called Chi-Town, CHI-TOWN. So, like I said, even just the title, to be blessed to hold the weight of a whole city, just one of the top cities in the United States, just to have a film, titled Chicago, that features me is just a blessing.
No doubt, because that says a whole lot. Because people who do not know, ball players that come out of Chicago, they dogs. It's real.
Yeah.
So for you to have that, that's what's up, because you definitely got to hold that name up.
For sure. And it's like you said, it's right there. It shows everything is real of, how I walk the walk every day.
No doubt.
Keifer, we talked before about your decision to come to the NBL. Because you had some offers, good offers to continue to play in Europe. We know that. What kind of influence, I think of a guy like Jayshawn Tate, who was on that Denver squad with you in Las Vegas last year, and where he's at now after a season in the NBL. We've been talking about a lot on this show about this league as a pathway to the association. Has that been something on your mind in this decision-making process?
Oh, man, that was definitely on my mind. And it's crazy. That summer before Jayshawn came here, we were sitting just, talking so much about that because we both played in the Champions League. And, I was letting him know my deals, in Europe and China. He was letting me know his deals. And it was just interesting with me to talk to him and just let him know, it's more about, in our young careers about, just playing where it's going to bring the best out of our abilities, not always chasing the money. Mm-hmm. And obviously, it worked out for him. And I also spoke to him again, this summer with us having that connection and let him know, like, man, I have these offers, but man, how was your time in Australia? And he's actually the one who kind of pushed me over the top on coming to the NBL, with him saying, how great of a season he had, how much he loved it. He didn't want to leave, but it opened up so many doors for him and how he was, getting prepared for the NBA. And then I also, switched my agent to have the same agents as him as, they filled me into just how wonderful this league is. So, like you're saying, with me playing, in so many leagues all over the world, it was kind of like, I didn't want to chase the money and things like that because, you could make those things up and you could always get those things. Our careers are so short that, you want to make the most of it. And I knew that this would be an opportunity to, really show people, my point guard skills, my leadership skills. And like you said, whatever comes from that next year, I was just willing to live with that rather than, just chasing a check or just, what the stigma, what people say of playing in this certain league versus this one. So, I just continue to believe in myself and just my unique journey and just continue to believe in God.
Do you know anything about the city of Melbourne? Beautiful city. We all live here. Like, do you know anything about the actual city, or are you ready to explore as well?
Well, I'm just ready to explore. I don't know much, but I know that it's obviously one of the bigger cities, and also being in one of the bigger cities is a reason, another pro as far as why I was like interested in coming here. So, I know they love basketball here. I played in camp with the Spurs with Patty Mills. I just recently with China, played against Ben Simmons in the preseason. And then, my best friend, Alfonso McKinney, played for, the Cleveland Cavaliers with Dante Exum. So, like I said, I take all of those signs that, Melbourne just kept coming around in Australia. So, I'm excited to get out here and explore.
Well, we won. Yes, Liam?
I was going to say, did you cross paths with Bryce Cotton at the Austin Spurs?
I did. We played on the same team. He didn't play many games with them because he got pulled right up to the Utah Jazz. But, I spent quite a bit of time with him. That was my first year. And, with someone just as talented as him, I just every time he was around, I just tried to pick his brain. So it's going to be exciting. Obviously, when people come to the NBL, you got to play against them. So it's going to be exciting to compete against him.
And you talked about joining that new agency. You'll be teaming up with one of those guys from that group as well, Ben Moore. What do you know about the squad? Mitch Creek, Ben Moore, the team you're going to be joining?
I just know that we just have a really, really talented team. A lot of guards, like you said, on that front line, we got Mitch Creek, Ben Moore, and like the staff say that we have a really good chance to be really good. So, I just want to make sure that I play hard, bring it every day in practice. Like I said, lead, do all the things I need to do on and off the court to get us to our max potential. Because a lot of teams say they could be good at things like that, but never reach their potential. So, with the coaching staff and me being an extension of them, I just want to be a leader and bring the best out of us.
We can't wait. We can't wait to have you in the city of Melbourne. We can't wait to see you in Southeast Melbourne Phoenix colours. We've been waiting, as I'm sure you have as well. We've all been waiting through a hell of a year and a longer off season, but we can now see the start line, and you're a big part of it on opening night, mate. Congratulations. Glad you're here after hearing you and playing you, watching you play 12 months ago. So looking forward to it, man. Good luck.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm very much excited to be here, and like I said, just work really hard and enjoy every single day that I'm here.
And
Good luck.
I tell you what, we're going to talk a little more about it after this. If you haven't seen this man do what he does, check this out.
Keifer Sykes. Can Sykes make another three? Can you know? He sure can. Oh, beautiful stuff from Keifer Sykes. Sykes knocks down a huge triple.
Keifer Sykes once again with another terrific defensive play.
Sykes in the corner. Sykes got it. Keifer Sykes. He responds for Milan. They find their mojo.
Oh, Keifer Sykes.
Southeast Melbourne Phoenix fans, they're up and about. And of course, they're opening. We're going to get to week one, and the fixture is released very shortly. But he's pumped. He's excited. He's ready to go. We've seen the highlights. We'll start with you, Liam. NBL.com.au. The full analysis is up there now. And you have put him in some very elite company when suggesting how good this guy's going to be.
Yeah, I think he's going to come in and be one of the best point guards in the league. We know Scotty Machado, Casper Ware, these types of guys. Bryce Cotton obviously plays a lot of minutes at that spot as well. I mean, he's going to come in and be a real impact guy. He's at that level. We don't see a lot of players step into the NBL straight out of the EuroLeague. So that says a fair bit in and of itself. Panathinaikos wanted him back. We only had a short-term deal on the table. He wanted something long-term. And he also, in the back of his mind, as he told us before, he saw the NBL as a place where he could really play, where he would be seen, and he could go and grow things from there. So you're right. Southeast Melbourne Phoenix fans should be excited about what he's going to bring. I also think, and this is something we flagged about this roster and this position early in the offseason. So should they bring back John Robertson? Should they go get someone else? He's going to bring some things that Robertson didn't for that team. Now, he's not as good a shooter as Robertson. How many guys in the world are? But he can definitely score. He can score from a bunch of different levels, but he's also an impact defender. Little, sure, but crawls in, strong, nuggety guy. So I like that element of him, and I think he's going to fit really well within this squad, and he's going to have a big season.
I see you smile, Homicide. Give me what you got, because you seem excited about this as well.
This is a great pickup for all those reasons Liam said, but to add to it, a lot of his peers, former teammates, have went this route and have been extremely successful. So he's coming in knowing the guys who he respects that have walked the walk down here and have done well. Some guys are in the NBA. One guy, Jerome Randall, a former MVP of the league, former superstar in this league, and the other guy is the GOAT in the league, active, Bryce Cotton. So he's watching these guys do well. So he already knows what it's going to take. He's a talent in his own right, and he wants to get to the next level. We all know this is a pathway to the NBA. So he's going to be in a great position to do that, as well as lead this team, to finals or potentially a championship. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reality of it. They got a talented roster together. He helps them in many ways, especially defensively. So Simon Mitchell's a great coach, and he's going to be in a position to do exactly what he wants to do. So hopefully that will be enough to get them to the next level, them meaning the team.
That was always, Liam, I think, with the Phoenix and with any new franchise, that's always the big test. The amount of excitement leading into any new franchise is always at fever pitch. And we're going to see it, of course, with the Jack Jumpers as we head towards the next 12 months. But the big thing for franchises to do, and it's not always as easy to do as we would like, is that almost that second up syndrome. You've now got to be able to regenerate excitement. It's been a weird year, as we all know, but you've got to be able to go out and put the roster together. The expectations will rise because they're like, hey, you know what? We've been in for 12 months. We know what it's like on and off the court. Now is the time to put a roster together that is a legitimate finals contender and a championship. And so far, when we sit down and we'll say May or April or June or wherever it was and spoke about teams or the players that the Phoenix kind of need, thrown a little curveball with the Ty Wesley retirement, Tommy Greer, Simon Mitchell, Rowan Short, the entire crew at the Phoenix have been able to go tick, 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 and find exactly one that we think, well, I think, I'll personally, from my experience, to suggest that they're going to be very, very good, fun to watch as well. But two, garner that excitement that sometimes can be subdued a little bit when you've been in the league for 12 months.
Yeah, no, they've certainly done that with their recruiting this year. Brought in some exciting pieces, some guys that are looking for bounce back campaigns with a change of scenery, and then some excitement, certainly at this point guard position, of course. And that's the challenge for Southeast Melbourne this year. They need to take the next step. Showed some signs, had some exciting moments last year, tailed off and finished second to last. But what do they need to do this year? They need to make the finals. That's the kind of tick of success for me analyzing this organization. And heck, if you make the finals in the NBL the way it's kind of structured right now, and with how competitive all these teams are, you're a shot. Anything can happen from there. And we know, think about last season, you know, like Cairns and
Perth.
Melbourne, Perth, Sydney, any one of those teams. New Zealand, who finished outside, could have won the title had they got in there. Brisbane was storming home. So if they can, I think this team will be right on that bubble. And if they can get themselves in, then they can turn their attention to winning the championship. But no, it's a good signing. It ticks all the right boxes, and they can step forward from here.
Hey, that's a really good point you make there, Liam. I think when we got to the last week of the NBL 20, there were 6 teams who legitimately thought they could win a championship. Every single team in an off-season homicide should be like, we can win a title. And I've said this before. I think every single team right now should be sitting there going, we can win the NBL championship based on what we have got and how it all plays out. Now, you need luck and all the rest of it. We get it. But very rarely do we get to the end of a season in any professional league around the world and legitimately have 6 teams who, and New Zealand and Brisbane, no doubt, leading into that last weekend, would have been thinking, hey, we can win this. And I think that's a credit to every individual franchise putting their roster together in a year that goes up and down. And I think it's a credit to the NBL. And that is why I think this is one of the most open seasons of all time, because all 9 legitimately, I think right now, should be able to lay claims of winning a championship.
And that's why I say this is one of the best leagues in the world outside of the NBA, because for the reasons that you just said, how many leagues in the world you could actually say that about? Outside of the NBA, how many leagues, domestic leagues, you can say that about? 9 teams, and we're like, yo, any of these 6 could win. That's how balanced this league is. That's what makes it so unpredictable.
I would argue too, Homicide, the NBA could never say that. If you go back through the last decade, there wouldn't be 6 teams. Now, they all might dream, but there wouldn't be 6 teams who legitimately think in the playoffs that they can win a championship. And that there is some, obviously when you have super teams, it's a little bit different. But there's very few leagues right now that could say, we've got teams right now that think they can win it late in the year.
Back on Sykes for a second, zeroing in on him in particular. One of the things I always look at when teams sign these guys that are 25, 26, 27, but they haven't been in the league, right? And they've been knocking on that NBA door. I always think, well, what is it that has kept that guy out of there? So you get a different answer with different players, right? Like what fell Glenn Rice Jr. out of the NBA? Well, that you get an answer and some things play out. Then you look at, if a guy is, especially a point guard, if he's out of the league, not because of any of his skill set, but because he's undersized for the position, those guys come here and usually blow up. Jerome Randall, Casper Ware, Bryce Cotton, all of these guys have been out of the NBA for a period of time because they're not 6'2". Keifer Sykes, if he was 6'2", he'd have been in the league for the last 3 or 4 years without a shadow of a doubt. We talked about Scott Machado. Why was he out of the league? If he'd shot 40% from 3 all that period of time, he'd have spent his entire career over there. Comes here, does that. He's one of the best players in the competition. So I think what you have in this guy is a potential to be, and we'll see what he turns up and does, but the potential to be the best, one of, if not the best players in the league this season.
We mentioned this, Liam, of course, having a chat there with Keifer, but the very fact is, and I think it's up on your Twitter at Liam Santa. Am I right there in your Twitter handle? Yeah. And you put up a piece of what you and I spoke about in Vegas last year, and he was And one of the first names you mentioned, it was one of the guys, one of the point guards. We know they ended up with John Robertson, who had a really good year, as we know. But the very fact is that it has been a process that Simon Mitchell and Tommy Greer and the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix have been working towards to get him here. And for me, that just tells me how talented he must be. That it wasn't like, hey, it didn't work out, now we'll just look elsewhere. They're just chipping away. They got him in the back of the mind, seeing what he's been able to do, and got him. So it's exciting when we can look back on what they were thinking about 12 months ago to here where we know he's going to be in those colours.
Actually, that's a good point. Why you bring that up, shout out to the GMs, CEOs, and head coaches in the league who talk frankly to us in those types of situations, right? The fact that Tommy Greer and Simon Mitchell were like, yeah, they're the names. They're the point guards on our list. That's who we're looking at and talking to. Gives all of us and all the fans a chance to look deep into those guys. And then we can look back later down the track. Shout out to a guy like Dean Vickerman, who sat here last week and talked to Corey and I and said, yeah, we've got an offer on the table. Hopefully the man signs it. Love it when these guys come and talk frankly. And we get so much of that out of the key decision makers in the NBL.
And I think too, and that is also, I'm going to put this honestly as well, without, pissing in your pocket. I think that the NBL and everyone involved has got a hell of a lot smarter. Stuff gets out. So rather than trying to hide certain things, I think the last year or two, and a lot of that goes to the fact that, you've been at Summer League for a while and there's many more journalists now covering the NBL. So stuff gets out organically or sometimes on purpose. But the very fact is that they're like, you know what? Why should we hide that we're chasing these superstar players? We know that this guy, if he's in our team, is going to be really good. And I think that is a huge reason as to why the brand of the league continues, Homicide, because there are guys that they are chasing that is now realistic. Like Jock Landale, a guy of his caliber a decade ago, probably wasn't realistic to play in the NBL because there's probably more money in Europe or wherever it might be. And going forward, there might have been a better option into the NBA. But I think that's where the league sits, where it's just in one time, a big bow now. And I think it's great for everyone.
100%.
I think we'll stop in 5 years' time, hopefully less. We'll be like, we know why you're here. Because you play well, the NBA's there. We won't have to continue to talk about it because it will just become a thing. You talk about or speak about speaking into existence, Homicide. In 1 year's time, it'll be just like, well, we know you're here because the NBA, what else you got to talk to us about type thing. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, I feel like that right now already.
Mm-hmm.
It's been proven. It's been proven the last few years. So it's not 5 years from now. We're talking about the NBA buying the NBL. That's how I'm looking at it.
You did bring that up about 18 months ago, actually. All right, let's get to Adam Forde. And you love stories, Homicide, and this is a great story. A guy who's just worked his backside off. He's an absolute ripping dude as well, which makes it a lot easier to continue to talk him up because he has earned every single position he's got from the very bottom to where he is now, leading the Sydney Kings. Kings took their time, obviously had a look at the best or every option out there, and in the end, no doubt, he was the right man for the job. Homicide, I'm going to start with you because this is a big opportunity for him. Huge market, talented team. It's going to be a fun watch.
See, a guy like him, like you just said, it's been earned, not given his whole career. So when a guy like that gets a golden opportunity like this, you better believe he is not going to fail you because he knows an opportunity like this, chances are, would have never come this early. Shout out to him. And as he said in the presser, business as usual. He knows what he has to do. This is the reality of the situation. Last year, hell of a year, right? Forget my opinion. Let's take my opinion out of the equation. They were in first place last year, and they finished first place last year. From beginning to the end, they made history. Arguably the best team they ever had. And we don't know what could have happened. That's the reality of the situation. For all we know, they win the last two games, they win it. So there's a lot of unfinished business to do. Andrew Bogut is gone. They have a new big man who's talented and on paper, what they say, he can do everything, right? Head coach is gone. Now he steps in. Casper's back, and you have all the other pieces, Newly and everybody else, right? That's a great team still. Now, do they have enough time to get his philosophies instilled and get this thing going? I don't know, but I'll tell you this, regardless of how much time he has, he'll have that team ready to go.
Yeah, and as you both say, he'll put in the work, he'll put in the hours. That's what he has always done. It is a good story. It's kind of the Will Magnay story of the coaching world in a way. He reminds me, to make another comparison, a little bit of kind of the Eric Spoelstra path to becoming a head coach, because this guy started as a volunteer kind of video guy with the Wildcats, but he had aspirations. And in his mind, right from the very start, he was like, I want to be a head coach in that league. That's where I'm headed towards, and was a part of a super successful organization there in Perth. Multiple championship winning assistant coach in Perth, alongside guys like Matt NIELSEN, learning under Trevor Gleeson. Those two guys have gone on now, NIELSEN in the G League and Forde in Sydney, obviously, to take head coaching roles. And the move last year away from that, spread the wings a little, opportunity to learn under Will Weaver, move to a different situation, and now he hits the ground running. And they've got a little bit of a head start because, as we said last week, they have been operating in recent weeks, that playing group on the training floor. They got to an understanding of, look, let's just operate as if Forde's going to be made the head coach. Put in your systems, let's get going. And if we have to change, we will. But if we don't, if you do get that spot, we're off and running. So that's the situation that they're in. And, he's worked his way up. And the other thing I quite like about his situation this year is, with no Bogut, with all NBL first team Jayshawn Tate gone, two-time MVP Kevin Lish gone, Will Weaver, change of coach. I think there's no expectations necessarily. This is not like a championship or bust team like it was last year. When Andrew Gaze took over this team a few years ago, the roster they had was like, well, geez, like if you don't win the title, you've dropped the ball. A lot of pressure. Whereas I don't think Adam Forde necessarily has that. Definitely has some pieces to work with, and going to be fun to watch it play out.
And that's what I was going to say. I agree to an extent, because it isn't that championship or bust motto. They're still going to be very good, or at least expectation. And that's what comes with being a head coach of a professional sporting outfit in Sydney. And we know how big and how exciting everything gets in Sydney in a sporting sense when a team's going particularly well. So you're right. Championship or bust, no. But there's a lot of pressure to be associated with a very talented team in that marketplace as well. So it will be interesting to see how it goes. And the very fact is that you told us last week how excited you were about their announcement of their signing, or at least the guy they're talking to, and then it happened. So they are talented still. Let's
100%. Let's be clear.
They're gonna
is on that team.
They should be good.
Every team Casper Ware has been on in the last 3 years go to the championship. We're not gonna take any type of pressure off the table. That's not what we're doing. They are stacked still. Didi Lozada's there. Let's keep the same energy. Brad Nolly's there off a successful year. What's the backup point guard they had a career year?
Sean Bruce.
Okay. We're not going to act like they still don't have a squad.
No.
Projected rookie of the year is on their team. They're not coming here to not make finals. They coming to win.
Which I don't think Liam was saying that.
This is the very point. That I don't think they have pressure to win. If they don't win the title, it's an unsuccessful season. That's not what I think sits on them from our perspective. It's, geez, you better make the finals with that squad. Right. And then go from there. You look at New Zealand, you look at Melbourne United, you look at this Sydney team, definitely have a lot of talent, which is great. That's what you want as a head coach. I want the pieces. I want the talent. You can't win without it. So you got to have that. But also, geez, you can do without the expectation of,
that's true.
First year as a head coach in this league, you better win the title or you've underperformed.
Jarell Martin, you're excited. You wouldn't give me a name last week, Liam, and now the signing is official. I'll start with you. He can play. That is no doubt.
Definitely.
Does he fit what he's got? Like you talk about it, we do mention, obviously, Tate, Bogut, Lish. So there's some very experienced pieces that are going out. Is he the type of guy who's going to be able to come in and from opening night, be able to do in this league what he needs to do for this team to play well?
For sure. I mean, he's a high-level talent. Guy well and truly operating on the NBA fringe right now. First-round draft pick 5 years ago.
Yep.
And, nearly 200 games of NBA experience under his belt, nearly 40 games as a starter. So this is a guy who's a high-level talent. Power forward over there, can come here and play center, 100%. Big, strong body, but versatile skill set. Can step outside, really stroke it. I described him during the week as think Cam Oliver, slightly better shooter, not quite the athlete. Not going to be throwing shots into the 10th row and catching lobs left, right, and center, but a good, strong body, a versatile skill set. Very different player to Andrew Bogut in terms of what he brings to the table in that 5 spot, but he's going to stretch the floor, which I think opens the lane up for Casper Ware, who I'd like to see get into the lane a little bit more this year, for Xavier Cooks to be his slashing self from the 4 spot. So I like it as a signing. The Memphis ties with Chris Pongras helped it to get over the line, and great pickup for the Kings.
So you think Martin and Cooks will both start?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be fun to watch. And this is actually, and this is something that I love, Homicide. Not only we're talking about how good these rosters are, but there's a lot of entertainment. It's not be all and end all, but there's a lot of entertainment attached to professional sport. And it just seems that every single roster excites neutral fans. And this is no different.
Man, I can tell you this. The level of unpredictability in this league has gone up again.
Yeah.
Because it's that competitive, and I'm just sitting here and we're talking about a team that Casper Ware is on, a man that literally walks into the championship every year, the last 3 years. And we're sitting like, well, if they don't make it, the expectations just aren't as high as it were last year. And that's true, but that just goes to show you how the talent across every other roster has gotten better.
Now, I look, I don't need to tell you guys, I don't have much in my life outside of watching sport. And the very fact is, and we're going to get to the schedule in a minute, we're going to be kicking back on a Tuesday and a Wednesday night watching this unfold. And that just damn excites me because we said this earlier, okay? And I think this rings true. I watch a lot of NBA, but if I'm sitting down on a Wednesday arvo and it's, I don't know, if it's Detroit taking on Orlando, I'm probably not going to be as interested, to be fair. There is not one matchup in the NBL that I will miss because I just don't think it's going to be entertaining. And I think that's a credit to the league. And that, I don't know. I've got to get other things in my life. I've got to get some hobbies, granted. But I'm excited about this. I'll do it once the season's over.
I don't want to poop the party.
Oh, no. Here we go. Oh, no.
But I will say this, just to ground everybody back for a moment, is that here's what we know for sure. Whilst we get super excited about all these signings, no team signs a player, thinks he won't be really good.
True.
And we get excited about all these guys. Some of these guys aren't going to pan out. It's just how it works, year in, year out. We thought Keith Benson would come in, with it. He's done this and he's been there and he looks like he's going to bring this to this squad. Joe Ingles told us when Brisbane signed Taylor Braun, oh boy, you guys have got a serious baller. He's going to come in and have it. Well, he was good, not great. Some of these guys aren't going to necessarily pan out, and that's part of the fun and the intrigue. It's no sure thing. You've got to come in and surround them and support them in the right position, put them in a position to succeed, and then roll the ball out and make that happen. So that's part of the fun, seeing who blows up and who levels out.
At my 6th birthday party, Homicide, this kid popped a balloon in my face and my ears were ringing for like 2 hours. That's how I feel right now. Hey, let's get to the Bullets. And we're going to start with you, Liam, because you did stress a little bit of concern last week about the Bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Their new signing, does that ease your concerns at all?
Yeah, he's a good pickup for sure.
Well, we don't know that for sure. Yeah, we've got to see him first.
Well, I mean, he's
I agree.
I like him. I think this is a guy that will pan out. That's sure to come back and bite me in the butt. But he's he's a bucket getter. You sure? I mean, I tweeted about wrote about his shooting clips in the G League last year. Didn't play a lot of time in the G League, but tore it up when he was in there. 20 points a game, nearly 50, 40, 90, essentially. And then Orlando were like, whoa, come on up. 2-way contract. Let's make this work. So he's a small forward in the league. He's he'll play power forward here, I think, alongside Orlando Johnson. So, and with Matty Hodgson, you'd think starting at the 5. So he'll come in and be that. He'll be a different kind of player to what Will Magnay was bringing in that spot. Not going to lead the league in block shots, I'll tell you that much, but will score.
Will both their imports start, Lee? And this is the thing when I look at their roster. They've got a decent logjam of guys 2, 3, and 4.
I think he will. I think you see Dremick start at the 2, Orlando Johnson 6'5" start at the 3, and then Vic Law 6'7" start at the 4. That's
and
how
Hodgson as the 5 and Sobey as the 1.
The 5, yeah. And then so that's how I expect him to roll out. And this guy can really play. Good pickup. And the fact that they've been able to get it done early, they'll have him here on opening night, is a great result.
What do you mean by early? We've been waiting 7 months for this thing.
Yeah, but well, no. Speaking with Sam McKinnon, GM of basketball, they they had the Will Magnay thing. There was no actual pen on paper. They had him under contract, so they were like, let's get Orlando Johnson done to make sure that no matter what, we've got one of our imports locked and loaded, gone through quarantine, and we'll be ready to go on opening night. And we'll keep working on this 4 spot in the background. But they've been able to get it done quickly, and they'll have him here.
All right. Any word on the Bullets before we get to the schedule, Homicide?
No, we can go. Good luck to him.
Let's do it. Let's start with you because, of course, we've been waiting. And clearly with 2020, how it's all been, we so much uncertainty. But last Thursday, the first 5 weeks of the NBL season dropped. And it just continues to excite us. I'm going to start with you, Homicide. What are you most looking forward to? Of course, we'll see United and the Phoenix kickstart on January 10 on a Sunday. But if you look at opening week, what pumps you up?
I'm looking forward to that Battle of Melbourne, Battle of Victoria. Melbourne United versus Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And then I'm looking forward to 2 games. Melbourne United versus New Zealand Breakers. Those are my 2 games I'm looking forward to.
We've spoken about this, Homicide, in the past, and I think the NBL did it really well last year. But I love rivalry round to kickstart any pro league. I don't think it's the best way about it. To see 2 teams that played in the grand final go against each other. We saw that last season. We're going to see it again with the Wildcats and the Kings. But I know you're pumped. Hobson in United colours. The Breakers are rolling on in. That is perfectly scheduled by the crew at the NBL.
Definitely. Hobson, that's my pick for the MVP of the league. Mm-hmm. I don't even know who their 5-man is, but depending on who they're going to get, they got to get somebody else. If they get and play at I guess Jock Landale would be a 5 here. Mm-hmm. If they're able to get him signed, oh my God, that changes my whole thought. I believe they'll win it with that team. I'm just going to tell you right now, I believe they will win it with Jock Landale there.
Well, hang on. All right, between the 3 of us, who believes he'll be there at opening night? Put your hand up.
I don't know, but Jock Landale there. I'm just waiting for that signature to come to fruition, come public. If it's there when it's done, then I'll make a prediction early. But I think that could probably be the championship matchup right there. Ooh, New Zealand versus Melbourne United.
That's a very, very fun one. Melbourne have a seriously fun opening round.
Yeah, they do.
Open the season with the Phoenix, have that matchup with Hobson's former team, the Breakers, and then they will head to Perth and take on the 2-time defending champs. So a lot of fun for them. And you talk about the championship matchup from last season. Trevor Gleeson is going to enjoy every single moment of unveiling their championship banner in front of the purple and gold and their raucous Red Army on that Friday night of the first week. And there's some others. A Sunshine Stoush in the opening round. I flagged it would be nice to see Brian Goorjian coach against a team called Southeast Melbourne.
Yep.
For longtime fans of the NBL. So that'll happen in the second game of the season. So I like what they've done with the opening round. And we're going to have to wait a little while to see Lamar Patterson go up against his former team, but we'll keep that in the back pocket.
I think this is, again, a credit to what is happening in the NBL, where we continue to get rivalries going forward. Of course, there's no Kings and Melbourne United in the first week. So Casper's always got that little bit of edge, and then Lamar Patterson. And so we can't all squeeze them in an opening round, but the storylines I think have been perfectly hit when it comes to that first week. And of course, NBL.com.au, check out the schedule as well. And it's going to be interesting. I love floating fixtures in sport. I think it's the best thing for it. And I think it's the best way to maximize commercially in particular and the fans and the excitement and the storyline. So looking forward to it dropping. All right. Hashtag NBL overtime before we get out of here. Make sure you get involved. Anything, boys, to end on?
One quick thing.
Yes.
The drop today. Shout out to, was mentioned Matt NIELSEN before. Shout out to him on being named as the Gorge's assistant for the Boomers this season. Great pickup. As we've said before, a rising star in the global coaching ranks. And he's gonna play an important role in that. Has great history with Gorge. Of course, great history with that program as a proud Boomer of a number of campaigns. And I like that as a signing from Basketball Australia.
I don't also, speaking coaches, did I dream this or did this happen on last week's NBL overtime? Chris Anstey put that out there as well on his podcast, and you mentioned Phil Handy.
Yeah.
Okay. That happened on the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Homicide, I know you, have you had any conversation with Phil Handy? Like, is this a legitimate possibility to put his hand up to be a part of the Jack Jumpers? Have you spoken to him?
I'm not sure about any of this. I didn't speak to him.
Okay.
I didn't.
We'll end the show.
Would be fun.
It'd be incredibly fun, wouldn't it?
Great pickup for the Jack Jump. That'd be a great way to start the franchise if they can get that done.
Yeah, that would be huge. Hashtag NBL overtime to get involved. We're going to get out of here. There's so much going on. I'm not even going to be stupid enough to say next week's show is not going to be as big because we're getting bigger and better and closer to the start of the season. And I'm hearing, I don't want to go early on this, but I'm hearing my management have spoken to some other people's management. Fact is that we might be relocating out of our lounge room sometime soon and getting all together again. I'm not 100% certain, but
back to the studio.
Yeah, of course. I didn't have great social skills prior to the coronavirus hitting, so I'm not certain how I'm going to be once I'm out of it. But we'll just see what happens over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully an announcement. Hashtag NBL overtime to get involved. Make sure you jump on NBL.com.au and all the socials as well. Boys, see you next week.
Peace.
That's